Next up on the number one tee.
Well, hello and welcome back to your virtual tea time. I am your host, Tori, and today I am joined with our buddy, Kimberly Eaton.
Oh, come on, really?
I like it, Kimberly. I think we should take a poll. Do we like Kim Eaton better or Kimberly Eaton?
Kim Eaton.
Kim Eaton.
Anyway, I am so glad to be back on, and I'm so glad that you are back on. Your viewers and listeners are so excited, I'm sure.
Kim, I'm glad you're here. Obviously, I'm going to have Kim on at least once a month. I sent her over the podcast schedule a couple days ago. I said, okay, put in your spot for January, February, and March. So you're going to be a regular on here, and I'm super grateful for it.
Well, yeah, since it's really my podcast. No, just kidding to all you listeners out there.
Kim gets a hoot out of that. You do. Let's dive right in. So today we're going to be talking about golf beliefs that we're going to leave behind in 2023. Okay. Things that are taking up too much energy. They're not serving any good purpose whatsoever. We're leaving it back in 2022. Excuse me. We're going to move forward in 2023 without them. But first, Kim, let's talk about where you're at with your golf game right now. What's going on?
Well, as you know, I've taken a sabbatical from competing for 3 months. So that's December, January, February. I'm going to start back up in March. I've been working out. I've been stretching.
Okay, because the last time you were on, you were saying, I'm taking some time for myself. I'm going to start working out consistently. You weren't feeling great at the time.
No, I wasn't. And I guess that's one of the things I'm leaving behind for 2022.
Like that it's not important?
Well, no, it's important, but I just want to feel better.
Yeah. And so you started your consistent workout routine in November or December?
Well, I might have started I think I started stretching in October and then took a month off because we were on a cruise and
doing all the things. She's a
Mexico. I mean, it was just a busy fall.
Yeah. And so you started working out in December.
Yeah, December, January.
And what was that like the first couple of times?
Well, the first time they put me on the exercise bike, I thought I was going to have a stroke. I needed oxygen badly.
Okay. And now what's it been like?
It's better. They said that I'll always feel winded and stuff because the bike, I'm not on it for very long. You have to realize this is a 20-minute workout and it's new. I love it. It's the exercise coach. I think it's a new philosophy. So they don't believe just in concentric, but eccentric workouts.
Well, you lost me.
So like, for example, on the leg press, you just don't push in, but then you have to resist it coming back too. So you're getting the lengthening and the strength coming back in too. So it's more isometric, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know either, but wait, so it's 20 minutes long.
20 minutes long, you go to, and it's computer based. It's not weight based. It's the computer runs the machines and it can increase your resistance by how you're going and everything like that. It's pretty cool. And 20 minutes is
enough.
A perfect time.
It is. I went on the treadmill this morning and it was like 17 minutes and it was a 45-minute class. And I went on in about minute 17. I was like, I'm done. Like, that's good. I got the blood going. It's better than nothing.
And I can tell you I'm feeling stronger. And I think I've noticed a difference when I've gone out and played golf. But that's maybe another thing that I'm going to leave behind in 2022.
Which is
the fact that I have to realize that I'm old and I'm not going to hit the ball as far. It doesn't matter how much I work out. Yes, I'm going to hit it a little further than I felt this summer, but I'm never going to be 30 again.
Yeah. Give your workout place a shout out.
The exercise coach in East Mesa by Falcon Field. And there's some other members from Apache Wells going. There's some members from Alta Mesa that I know that are going.
Is there an actual trainer going around the circuit with you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But come March, probably, I can do a group thing where there's like maybe 4 people in the group, and the trainers are there to adjust your seats or whatever you need. But then you can do it like a circuit, and you can do it, kind of on your own. But they have a board that tells you this is what protocol you're using on this machine, and blah 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 blah, and down the line. And so it's cheaper. It's pretty expensive. That's why I can't compete right now. I'm spending $700 a month.
Wow!
Just on trying to get my body feeling better.
It is expensive, but what do you know now after being in it a couple months now that you didn't know when you started? Are you in less pain?
Less pain.
You probably have a little more muscle fatigue, I would imagine. But
yeah, I can tell you when I did some exercises last week, we worked a little on obliques, turning and stuff. And when I went out to play that day, it was like my body didn't want to move. It was like, you're not turning today.
Your obliques weren't firing.
They were not firing. No.
Okay, so you haven't been playing as much golf.
Well, the weather hasn't helped here either.
We're in Arizona, and it has been a lot of rain.
A lot of rain and cold, That's why we moved here. We don't have to play in the bad weather.
Yeah. And do you ever?
Only if I'm playing in a tournament and have to.
Yeah, I agree. Me too. So what's been going on with your golf game, though?
Nothing. I've been playing pretty good, and some days I have bad days. You'll get a kick out of this. I'm big into gummies at night. Well, so one Friday, the girls decided, hey, let's take a daytime gummy. So I was playing with Pat and Jen, and the other 4 were there. So the 5 of us took one.
A daytime gummy. Okay.
The worst golf ever.
Yeah, but were you laughing?
No, but everybody else was laughing at me the way I was playing. I had a greenside bunker shot. I hit it about 150 yards out of the bunker. I was putting 20 feet by all the time. And I was playing in this game of the day at the club, and I had to call them and say, I'm a no card. I was just pathetic. So no daytime gummies for this person. Only nighttime ones.
You are leaving daytime gummies into 2022. You're not taking daytime gummies.
Not if I'm playing golf.
I can appreciate that. Well, all right, let's get into it, because I took this poll on my Instagram stories a couple days ago. And again, the question was, what golf belief are you leaving behind in 2022? Okay, it's not serving you any purpose. It's taking too much energy. So I got a lot of really good responses, and I wanted to go through a bunch of them because I know you can relate to a lot of them. And maybe you were too shy to say them in the Instagram poll, but I know that a lot of these will resonate. So the first one that really caught my attention and that I loved was that I need to apologize up front when I'm starting a round with strangers.
No.
Hell no.
You don't need to apologize. They were where you were at one time.
Mm-hmm. And they're probably not that good anyways. I mean, and even if they are good, they don't care. They're concentrating on, I would say the better golfer they are, it's probably the more they're concentrating on their own game.
Sometimes, yeah.
I
thought the one that stood out to me, and I saw it several different times, was not to be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Well, trust me, in this game, you're never going to be perfect.
Never.
Even if you have the best round of your life, there was something that went on in that round that still happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and what would you say, even at the professional level? I've heard once before that even the best golfers in the world, they'll walk away from their round and think they might have had 1 or 2 perfect shots that round.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
and that's the other thing I'm embracing in 2023 is that, so you hit it bad. Sometimes some of my worst shots end up 5 feet from the hole.
Yeah. Or you get some crazy up and down, or you make the 40-footer. You just never know.
That's
never know.
right. This is a game of you don't know.
Yeah.
When I hit it bad, like Pat will tell me, she goes, when you hit your tee shot in the crap or whatever, she goes, sometimes you have your best holes when you hit it like that.
Yeah.
And that's because we concentrate more to get it back into play or whatever.
So some of the ones that were stated was letting go of perfect, that I have to be perfect. No way I am, nor should I be. And this actually reminded me of that round, Kim, that I caddied for you during the Mid-Am qualifier. Probably a round you don't want me to talk about.
Do we have to bring this up again?
I know, because it was being a front row seat at not your best golf game and still seeing you pull through was very inspiring. And people need to know that, it's not always great out there, even at any level. And so can you remind everyone what happened during that Mid-Am qualifier? Or excuse me, I keep saying Mid-Am qualifier, the Senior Am qualifier.
Well, I was in the last group and I pretty much already kind of knew who was going to qualify for this event based on who was participating.
And scores that needed to be had. You had to probably
and
score
stuff. And so going into the 18th hole, I was 7 over.
Yeah. I think that you were on track for a 79, but I think you should go back to the 17th hole.
Well, I'm going to go. Just give me a second.
Okay. All right.
So I hit an okay drive and then I chunked my second shot. It didn't go very far. And then I looked at my phone and saw that somebody was in with a 79 already who I thought, there is no way. No way. So I knew I had to get it up and down.
From probably 50 yards.
Oh,
out.
It might have been further than that. But anyway, so I got it up and down. I made like a 20-footer and I hadn't made a putt all day.
Yeah.
And then 18 was a par 5. I parred it. And so now I'm in a playoff. So Pinnacle Peak, the first hole's a par 5. I'm in the green side bunker in 3. My opponent is on the green in 3. She hits her first putt and leaves it about 5 feet short. I hit it out of the bunker about 10 feet. Again, I haven't made very many putts, but I made this one and she missed.
Yeah.
And so
you just never know.
I was in. Yeah. It's a funny game. It really is.
But that round too, you were chunking balls more than I've seen. Like it was weird. Something was off that day. And this meant a lot to you, qualifying.
Well, yeah, because I've always qualified since I was able to play in the seniors. So this was my 13th one.
Yeah.
But it was the first one that I didn't make the cut into match play. So that was pretty depressing.
I would say though that qualifier round was far from perfect.
Oof, not even close.
Not even close. And golf is about just making, just grinding it out however way you can.
Well, grinding it out and also mentally knowing that you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up because of you.
Yeah. So this is a good point.
She sends me a text saying, I don't think there's any way I can beat, or no, it was after you got beat and you said, I really didn't think that I could beat her. This was a 13-year-old. And I'm like, that's your mistake right there.
Yeah.
Mentally, you have to go in with the idea that, yes, you can beat anybody on any given day.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that is actually what I am leaving behind in 2022.
Yes.
I am going to go into every tournament knowing that and believing that I can win. I can, whether it's match play or stroke play, anything can happen. And I've done the work and,
You are a good player. There is no reason.
Yeah. It's weird starting golf later in life. I think that, you're constantly comparing yourself to college players, younger players. When you get to that level, when you're competing against them a lot, I battle with the thoughts of, I have no right beating these kids. I have no, I haven't been doing this, or, they're fearless, or, all the excuses that come up in my head that say, I can't do this because I started golf, later in life. I didn't grow up playing. So those are kind of the internal battles I fight on the course, and look at where it got me. got me a chunk shot on number 17 at Aguila. So,
and yeah, as I said, at any given time, I had another thought, but I'm having a senior moment.
That's okay. We can move on. So another belief that someone is leaving behind for 2022, they said, I need to be good first before playing in tournaments, playing on nice courses, or traveling for golf.
I would say you don't necessarily have to be. It depends on what your definition of good is.
Which can be relative to anyone.
I mean, if you're just a brand new beginner, I would say, no, you probably don't want to play in a tournament.
Yeah.
And I had experience with that this summer. They have scrambles like Labor Day, 4th of July at our club. And there was a lady on my team who's never played golf.
Yeah.
And it was difficult.
Yeah.
But, her husband probably thought that was the only way he could play in this tournament was to sign her up to play too.
Mm-hmm.
And I commend her for coming out and trying, but there might be other times.
Yeah. Well, let's give the listener an idea though of when you know for sure, like you cannot have this excuse anymore. Do you have, most likely in most tournaments, you have to have an established handicap index. So first and foremost, let's start, posting scores.
Well, yes, because that's also going to show you not only posting them to get a handicap, but it's going to show you how you improve.
Mm-hmm.
When your handicap starts to go down or whatever, then you're getting better.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of a hard one sometimes to say when they should play in a tournament.
Yeah. I mean, my thought is that if you are, you play regularly and you're a 36 handicap or under, I mean, most tournaments that you enter, and I highly suggest you doing it if you are a higher handicap is going to be a net tournament. So, and it will be flighted.
A net tournament or even your league tournaments.
Yeah.
That's a good place to start out is in your league. Exactly.
So there's all different types of tournaments. And I think maybe Kim kind of initially thought state right away, but you start in these ladies leagues where you're just playing, play of the day. There's a game of the day and maybe you're counting every odd hole. That's a game, that's a competition right there. And then maybe you sign up for the President's Cup, which is 2 days of stroke play, all net. Maybe there's a member situation inside the league. That's kind of the safest, most laid back place to start when you just start to play in these tournaments.
Correct.
And then moving up. But how about nice courses or traveling for golf? Maybe you are just starting, but again, there's so many ways to enjoy these beautiful golf courses because really, that's one of the best things about playing golf is you get to travel and.
Well, if you have the money and you can afford to play nice golf courses, go for it.
Yeah. And you're going to play the forward tee boxes, or maybe you're even playing a scramble with whoever you're playing with where you're dropping your ball wherever they go. You got to make it fun for yourself so you can keep up pace of play and not have to stress over that.
So maybe back to the tournaments, playing in tournaments, I think you have to have a basic idea of the rules before you play in a tournament. But usually there's rule officials, and most rule officials should be on the course, not to penalize you, but to help you, with the rules.
And even if the rules official isn't near you, you can ask your playing partners. Really? I mean, I don't know every rule. I don't even come close to knowing every rule.
That's why I always call the officials over if I have a question.
Yeah.
Let them tell me.
Exactly.
That way I know I won't do it wrong. And pace of play. I think that's important. I think I don't want to say bad golfers, but golfers who are just beginning, I think they can play just as fast. I can play just as fast playing bad as I can playing good.
Oh, yeah. I agree. So let's get into the handicap because someone else said
about when should I start getting a handicap?
Well, their belief that they're leaving behind in 2022 was that I'm too new to establish a handicap.
No, you're not. No one. I mean, the handicap is going to tell you how you're progressing.
Yeah,
that's really all it does, and it allows you to compete against people of all different types of abilities.
and you can post 9-hole scores or you can post 18-hole scores, and no score is too high.
Not to get started. You know, my sister's been playing golf now for a couple of years, and she won't post her scores, and she just doesn't care. But she's not going to play in any tournaments either or anything. But it's like, Penny, maybe you should start posting. Nah.
Now, what do you say to her, though? Do you say, like, does she belong to a league or anything, or she just goes out with a group of friends?
She just goes out with a group of friends, and they play 9 holes, and sometimes she'll play 18 holes. But whenever she comes down here, she always has to play 18 because that's what we do. And she's gotten way better. I mean, she was never a golfer. She was always a tennis player. And
can everyone just take a moment and think, what if Kim Eaton was my sister? What is that like? What is that like to be the sister of Kim Eaton on the golf course? And Kim's making you play 18 holes. I actually made my sister play 18 holes too. Well,
I can tell you on one hole, and she one time, this might have been years and years ago, she kind of got mad at me because she was beating it around. And I finally said, okay, you're done. She didn't like that at all.
Like what? You pulled her ball, like you were like, no more shots on this hole.
Yep. We're going. We're moving on.
And she was pissed.
Yeah, I don't think she was too happy with me. Because for one, she's very competitive. You know, she gets angry at herself, just like I do and stuff. But, you know, she hasn't been playing that long. Maybe, I don't know, less than 10 years probably. And she's going to be 70.
What do you think golf has brought to her life?
Another way to exercise. Mm-hmm. Another way to challenge her abilities. Because she's very fit. She's a fitness nut, unlike her sister, who is not. I mean,
you're starting to be a fitness nut.
No, I wouldn't say a fitness nut, but I'm working. I mean, she works out every day. She either rides her bike, she lifts weights, she goes swimming every day.
So golf has brought her another opportunity to be outside. I take it she walks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Except when she's here.
Yeah. Because you make her ride.
Well, no, not necessarily. That's just how it is over there.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is a good one then, a good segue for the next one, which is I'm too old, and she puts in parentheses 64, to get better.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. I mean, you could take 1 or 2 lessons even, and maybe just concentrate on one thing, and you could be better.
Yeah. So let's bring up the distance thing. So you said that you were leaving the whole stress over not hitting it as far as you used to back in 2022. So what would you say to this woman who, because it's a lot of, I have to hit it farther in order to become better. How are we going to debunk that?
Well, a lot of women don't hit the ball very far. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not an average person, so you can't go by me. But most women don't hit it all that far, and they want to hit it further. But the one place that you see a lot of these ladies who are out there playing, they hit it straight, down the fairway all the time. And then a lot of times their short game is unbelievable. So you don't have to hit every green to make pars.
Yeah, yeah. You're saying that their short game is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So even if they're not getting on green in regulation, they're still chipping it up and down most times than not, and
a lot of times
one putting. Yeah. So yeah, and I mean, in my opinion, short game's a lot easier to practice and a lot easier to get better at quickly. So I mean, golf, there's so many areas to improve on, you know.
Yes, and in your case, it's your mind.
That's what I was going to say. My mind, it's getting in my way. And sometimes my driver.
well, yeah, that too.
I have a feeling every time I compete against Kim, she thinks, well, hopefully her driver's off.
Well, no, but the couple times that I have played with you, and I really wasn't competing against you at the mid-am because I was way back in the pack, and it was just you and Tori going. I was just thinking on that 18th hole, oh, maybe you shouldn't hit your driver. Just hit something down the middle of the fairway and boom, you hit your driver right in the shit.
I did. That was another time, though. I thought I probably didn't think I was worthy enough to win. So, oh God. Okay.
You are worthy.
So let's look at something else. So, one of the ones I got just messaged to me the other day was that I want to walk. And so I'm just going to start walking. Like the stigma over walking and having like that you need to be good or that you need to be really fit or, you know, maybe other people in your group normally ride. And so you feel bad walking. What are your thoughts on walking?
Well, sometimes I wish I could walk, but as we know, I can't because I have, I'm bone on bone in my feet and I can't walk 18 holes because I like to walk, really. And it helps me. I've gotten used to riding in a cart so much now that I can concentrate. But, you know, before walking gave me the time to think a lot. Okay, what am I going to do? Here and there. Some golf courses don't allow you to walk. Yeah. Which you probably don't want to anyway.
Yeah. I would say that the courses that don't allow you to walk, it's because they weren't made to be walking courses anyways.
So now our course at Apache Wells, it's a very walkable course. And we do have some walkers. But the problem is they do shotguns. They do they do a morning shotgun and an afternoon shotgun. Well, if you're stuck way out away from the pro shop, you have to walk all the way out there to get to your hole in time to go tee off. And that's kind of a pain for a lot of people. But our golf course is very walkable. And we do have some walkers. Yeah.
And just again, for the listener who's listening, as far as that shotgun scenario, you can always ask the pro shop to drive you out. And sometimes they'll offer to do that. But just remember too, that if you're starting on hole 15, which is way out there, then you're going to be ending on hole 14, which is way out there too. So it's almost like you're walking like 4 extra holes just because you have to get your ass out all the way out there. So it is a pain in the ass.
Sometimes you can pull your cart if you're playing with somebody that's riding the cart by themselves. You can pull your cart out there while riding the golf cart. I got pretty good at pulling people's carts and stuff, but I mean, if you want to walk.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't like to use a walking cart or for whatever reason you just don't use a walking cart, you know, there's a lot of my friends that have a different bag that if they want to carry, it's an extra light bag and they put only 10 clubs in it. And, you know, it's much easier to walk and carry.
Or the remote control.
Oh, yeah.
Carts.
I got to say, I'm getting more and more tempted each day to get one of those. Just so darn expensive.
They are pretty expensive. Pat used to have them and she loved them.
The remote control one?
Yes. I think I put her cart in the water one time.
You did?
Yeah, I think.
Like the remote control just buzzed right into the water?
Not the remote control.
Well, no,
the cart. I got out of whatever and it went... It went swimming. That happens a lot with people who get remote control carts until they get used to running it.
Well, my mom didn't even have a remote control cart and she just parked her walking cart at the wrong place last year on her golf course and that thing rolled right into the water. And my dad saw the whole thing and I'm like, you know what, the thought that wasn't on camera is it's not great. And I needed to see that. I needed to see it. So, but any advice that you give to the player that wants to start walking but is worried about it at all, Kim?
Well, if you can keep up, then there's not a problem.
Yeah.
Walking.
Yeah. And it's easier to keep up than you think it is. Even if you're the only one walking in a group, sometimes that's hard to do just because you always feel separated from them.
You feel like you have to run to keep up with them.
Yeah. But the reality is that you don't, but you just feel that way the entire time, which that's what makes it hard. So okay, let's get into some others. So this is what someone's leaving behind in 2022. Letting one bad shot dictate the rest of my game. Or let's even say having a bad front nine or a bad couple holes in a row. You know, we've all had it to where we've had a poor front nine and an amazing back nine. Or you start off with a double bogey and you think to yourself, well, F that, my round's done.
Trust me, I've felt that way many times and I've realized that that's not the case.
Yeah.
I guess a perfect example of that for me would be I was playing in the Mid-Am in Texas. And I shot, I think like 44, 45 on the front nine. I mean, I was damn near in tears, and Pat was caddying. And I wanted to walk off the golf course, but in a USGA event, you can't do that.
Yeah.
If you walk off the golf course in a USGA event, they might not invite you back.
Yeah. Understandable.
And I just had to kind of get my shit together and go to the back nine. And I think I shot 35 on the back, shot 79 and made the cut.
Yeah. You just never know.
You know, sometimes I think I got to the back nine and I just thought, it doesn't matter anymore. Mm-hmm. So just go out and play golf.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to make it a game within yourself. So I think it was yesterday, I was playing at Papago and I had 3 bogeys in a row. Now keep in mind, everything's relative. So for me, I don't really want 3 bogeys in a row. Maybe for you, it's 3 doubles in a row, or maybe it's, not parring easy holes. I don't know. But for me, 3 bogeys in a row, I had to tell myself, okay, let's just get a par on this next hole. Let's stop this bleeding right now. Let's get a par on the next hole.
Let's get off the train.
Yeah, let's get off the train and let's see how well we can shoot for these last 13 holes. But first, we need to get a par. You need to stop that trend. And I was able to turn in a decent round, but I do find sometimes the spiraling start, and I have to mentally check myself, okay, what are you doing here? Let's get back into.
Well,
let's focus.
I've started out where you start off bad, but then you have to realize, oh God, I got 13 holes left or whatever that I can bring it around. I know I can make some birdies, or I know I can make some pars to offset those doubles. And
how about doing it the other way? Starting off really strong and then shitting the bed on the back nine.
Oh, I've done that too.
Are you able to recognize it faster now though? Because once you're on the back nine, you're kind of more thinking about finishing up the round than really what the round is all going to be about. So sometimes that back nine can get away from you really quick. Can you recognize it faster?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Would you rather have a good front nine or a good back nine? What scenario would you feel better with?
I'd definitely rather have a good back nine.
Yeah.
If I'm going to play bad, let's play bad on the front so I can bring it back on the back.
Yeah.
But if you play really good on the front and then you just gag it on the back, it's like, what happened here?
Yeah. Why'd you do that? Okay. So know that, again, we're getting back to this perfectionist thing where golf is not easy, one, and not every shot's going to be perfect. And know that those bad shots or even bad holes or bad fronts or bad backs, it's going to happen.
That's what golf is about.
Yeah.
It's those 10-foot putts we make on the last hole that are we like, okay, I can come back now.
Yeah.
You're never going to be perfect. Nobody is perfect on the golf course, even though we tell ourselves that we should be hitting it a little better than that. But I'm starting to accept some of my bad shots because they end up pretty good sometimes. Those shots that you kind of thin and they're going a lot lower than they should, but when they hit the green, they check up. They check up because you have some spin on them because you hit it so bad.
Yeah.
And then I hear from Pat all the time, yeah, I'd love to have your bad shots.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, everything's relative for sure. For sure, at every level. So let me look through these notes right here. Okay, we'll finish up with this one because I do want to talk about Dansante Bay too. But we'll finish up with this one, that I don't have enough time to practice consistently.
That is kind of a tough one.
So there's people out there listening that want to break 100, break 90, or they want to be a single digit handicap, or they want to, be in the teen. They have some handicap index goal, but they have this thought in their mind that they don't have time to practice.
Well, it's not necessarily about the amount of time that you spend practicing. It's the quality of your practice. So if you go out and just putt for 15 minutes and you're really working on something, then that's good.
Yeah.
If you just want to go out and beat balls, well, that's really not practicing.
Yeah.
And you're talking to somebody who doesn't practice.
Yeah.
Anymore.
You've had your season where you've practiced a lot.
Until I got out of college. I practiced all the time.
And even with you, even going in, because I know there's certain events that mean a lot to you that you want to do well at, even coming up to those events, you're still not hitting any balls.
No,
More than
I
usual.
hit maybe 10 or 15 balls before a round just to loosen up and warm
and
up.
I can attest to that. I've seen it.
Well, one of the times I played in a match play, this was a long time ago, and it was Liz Wainick's first state tournament back after getting her amateur status back. And I hadn't seen Liz in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to the range to hit my few balls. And she's like, "What are you doing here? You don't practice." I mean, I hadn't seen Liz in probably 20 years. And that's the comment out of her mouth.
Yeah. It's just not something that you do anymore.
Well, no, because it hurts my back and it, to bend over. And I think it's quite boring. And
yeah. But as to Kim's point, though, I think a lot of us have a time frame in our minds that if we're going to go practice, we need at least an hour, or we need at least an hour and a half, or we need to not be on mats. There's these these conditions.
Mats really aren't too fun to practice on.
No, and actually, I always suggest if you are on mats for certain days, because I know every golf course will be on mats, let's say 3 out of the 7 days of the week, go do short game.
Or go someplace else and hit some balls if you have, like our golf course, we're never on mats.
So you must have a big range.
Well, it gets a lot of use. There's a lot of non-members who come over and hit balls on that range, which is fine. They allow it.
Yeah. But 15 minutes of intentional practice is better than nothing.
Yeah.
And I actually think those at-home putting mats do help quite a bit with your putting. It's not going to be, I just think it helps with your stroke.
It might. I've never done it.
Yeah. So it's just something to keep in mind that if you really don't have a ton of time on a certain day, maybe get an at-home putting mat to work at home, better than nothing. But so thank you first for sharing the golf beliefs that you are leaving around in 2022. I think that we covered a lot of them. We did have a lot of people that said that I suck. I mean, in multiple different ways, they said that I suck, that I can't, and it's, I don't know.
Well, I can tell you from experience this last summer, I sucked a lot.
And you made it through. And other than taking a 3-month break, you're not going anywhere.
I might not play in as many tournaments. I might just play national stuff. I don't know the schedule. From what I'm seeing when Colorado and Arizona comes out with some of the schedules, I'm finding a lot of conflicts. So I'm going to have to make some decisions.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I keep seeing ones that I wanted to get to. Let's do this one last one. I can't hit my 7-wood, or someone said I can't hit my 3-wood.
Well, I can tell you a 3-wood's probably one of the hardest clubs to hit.
I would say it's the hardest.
Off the fairway.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people will use their 3-wood instead of their driver because a lot of times the driver's too long and people have trouble swinging that through. So they use a 3-wood. That's a little easier to hit off of a tee. But off the fairway, I don't even carry a 3-wood anymore because I had so much trouble hitting it.
And I think, don't you need a little more swing speed in order to hit a 3-wood well? Just like if you were to have a 4-iron or 5-iron?
Probably, because they're longer and they're just harder to control.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 5-wood and a 7-wood.
Mm-hmm. Is there a club in your bag that's your least favorite?
Well, my hybrids really aren't my favorite.
Really?
I seem to hook them a lot.
Ooh, they're hookers.
They are hookers.
Do you have a 4 and a 5?
I have a 4 and a 5. But my 7-wood is pretty much like my 4 hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
So I could probably take the 4 hybrid out and just keep the 7-wood in.
What club would you add if you had to add a club? If you had to replace the 4 hybrid,
I'd maybe look for a 6 hybrid.
Oh, I like it. So yeah, the woods are probably the hardest club to hit, in my opinion. And a lot of times you're not hitting them a lot too. So
hybrids are easier. A lot of people get those irons that kind of look like hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to like those,
Yeah.
you don't have to go out and buy the best set of clubs there is.
No.
I think maybe, I don't know if I saw something about buying clubs or whatever, but, if you're going to start out with, have a wedge, a 9-iron, 7-iron, 5-iron, and some woods.
Yeah.
Or you could even do away with the 5-iron if you had a couple hybrids.
Yeah. And those beginner sets are about like 10 to 12 clubs too. Like they're a limited bag, and just like what Kim said, a wedge, 7-iron, 9-iron, they're good to start off at. But I'm a firm believer at getting fitted as soon as possible. It's only going to help.
Well, yeah, it can't hurt.
I know it's an investment, but they last a long time.
Well, I don't know. It seems like you guys are getting new clubs all the time.
Listen, we talked about it the other day. You said you had a wedge for, a decade.
Oh,
that thing doesn't have grooves anymore, Kim.
I still have them. I have my R90, Wilson R90 wedges. I have 2 of them. One's brand new because...
In your bag?
No, not in my bag. Oh. They're at home because you can't use them because they're not legal.
Oh, geez.
The grooves aren't legal on them anymore, and that changed like in 2014 and stuff. But if I could use them, I'd be using it. I loved that wedge.
Oh. Okay, so let's wrap it up with Dansante Bay. You joined us in October at Dansante Bay. We're going back in May to celebrate Cinco de Mayo there. What was your experience like? Because it got pretty crazy. And you know what? I might have Ashley. Ashley, let's get you on the mic too. Let's get you on here because Ashley obviously was there too.
I have to say that, first of all, going to Mexico is really not high on my list.
I actually don't think it's high on a lot of people's list.
But I have to say that was a great golf course.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I came away with more than anything was meeting the people. Yes, I played in the Desert Classic last year, and I never, it's here in town, so I don't stick around, and I'm not a big partier, but you really didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
At Dansante. I could have gone back to my room all the time, but
no, you stayed out and you did lots of shots and you partied, and
I didn't do lots of shots. I did one shot.
I'm going to disagree on that.
I did one shot. You can ask Tara, and you can blame Tara and Marty for getting me hooked on tequila.
One shot did all of that.
Yeah,
she was. Remember the last night?
Oh, that last night I was like, I don't know what was wrong, but
there was something going on in your internal system. But she was sweating.
I think the thing that I enjoyed most were meeting the different women.
Yeah. And this is coming from Kim, who has been in this golf community, like in the central core of it for years, decades. And you came to Dansante Bay and you fully embraced it, because again, this was out of town. Everyone's coming from out of town, so it's almost like you got to dive in or nothing, opposed to the Desert Classic, to where the locals usually go home pretty quick, like you said. And you fully embraced it, and the fact that you walked away with all these new friends, I find it funny. It makes me laugh, but I just love that. I love it.
Oh, it was fun. I'll admit it was fun, except. I couldn't bring my gummies, so I had trouble kind of sleeping at night.
Oh no, you had no trouble sleeping.
I don't have trouble sleeping anywhere, but at night I have trouble going to sleep, and I didn't have any gummies. And then she wouldn't let me take them on my cruise either.
Pat.
Yeah, she didn't want me to be a Brittany Griner and get thrown in the Mexican jail, except you would have thought that I might have when I had to go through secondary security at the airport.
That was so funny too. You were getting searched every chance they got.
Oh my God. And then we go to Canada and we get pulled into secondary search in Canada too. And the people we're traveling with, when we finally came out, they're like, where the hell were you? I said, well, we got searched again.
Yeah.
And I think the day this episode drops, Tori's going to need some content on Instagram showing some of your sleeping patterns and the searching. And
the first place I went to when we got Quebec, Canada was the pot store.
And Pat let you get the pot in Quebec. She just wouldn't let you take it with.
She wouldn't let me take it across the border.
Yeah.
Which Canada, she was reading up on it. It's very strict in Canada. In Mexico, I really don't want to be in a Mexican jail and stuff. But my God, I mean, the one lady at the airport was like, spread them more. And I'm like, this is what I tell people.
Oh my God. Okay, so coming from Dansante Bay, so you've been at Desert Classic, you've been at Dansante Bay, both fairly large tournaments. Who do you think Dansante Bay is for? Like, who would you say you need to go to Dansante Bay? You need to go to this tournament.
Well, I have a lot of friends that I think would really enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, but
you could be all levels of golfer.
But some of them look at it like it's pretty expensive.
But remember, it's all inclusive.
I know, and stuff. But
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It's a beautiful golf course.
It's gorgeous golf course.
The nice thing about it, though, so I believe it's $2,500 per player. And that includes all the tournament and all the food and drink for the entire week with your lodging, everything. So you at least go into it knowing like, okay, everything's been taken care of.
Right. Especially, there's some big drinkers that come to your tournaments.
I mean, yeah, they were having a great time.
They were having a good time.
Such a good time. And we were dancing and it was...
And I never dance.
And
that was...
That show.
Very out of my character.
I mean, that show that we went to just brought the dancing out of you. You couldn't help it.
That show.
Remember the show?
Stars.
Remember with all the dancers?
That one. Yeah.
I think she's talking about the last night with the tequila shot.
That was something else. But anyway, so everything's taken care of. And again, you hop on that American Airlines flight from Phoenix to Laredo. It's really easy. It's less than an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah, all that. And just the fact that the resort is like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get massages. They have a great spa there. I had a massage that was quite nice.
Yep. Yeah. And all the transportation to and from the airport's taken care of. It's like you don't have to worry about any of that.
And the
stuff.
Staff is unbelievable.
They really are. They really, I say this time and time again, they far exceeded all our expectations.
I think they were really surprised when 90 some golfers showed up.
Oh yeah. They did not believe that we were actually going to be able to pull that off. So it was something special.
So if you have the money, you have the time, I would certainly recommend it.
We have an incredible time. So
fun.
Kim, thanks for being on today. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
If you have heard anything that resonates with you that you need to leave behind for 2022, just leave it. Just move on. Leave that energy in 2022. Enjoy golf more, however that looks for you. That could be playing more tournaments. That could be establishing a handicap. That could be joining a ladies' league. However you enjoy this sport the most, do it. Dive right in.
Amen.
All right.
And do it.
Thanks, ladies, for being here. I appreciate it.
Be sure to check out the show notes for all the details on today's show. If you haven't already, please give a 5-star written review on your favorite podcast platform, or even screenshot this episode and send it to your golf buddies. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the first tee in a couple days.